What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports MLB Swing for the Fences show here on Sunday Fun Day. And I know myself, I know D-Rock. We're in recovery mode from last night. I'm assuming G Risen is as well, because I know how G Risen rolls, and he typically likes to hit it hard on Saturdays. So is it 3 for 3, G Risen?
Absolutely. I started out early, about 4 o'clock at a birthday party, and then continued to drink, watch a little bit of the draft, some baseball. Is a good night. I'm not hurting that bad. It's Sunday Fun Day here, so I'm ready to rock. It's going to be.
Well, you've already cracked. You're probably already starting like the real recovery mode. But yeah, there it is. Exactly.
So today it's Soul instead of Modelo's.
Okay, so we're on the Souls. Modelo, man, the Modelo sponsorship's going out the window. I mean, you gotta be loyal to your brand.
You got to split it up a little bit. You got to split it up.
Yeah. All right, D-Rock, how's it going over there, my man?
It's going good. Yesterday was a fun one. I hope all my Castillo owners drank responsibly last night with their 10 fantasy points. I tried getting them off of. But it ended up hurting me because then Dustin May goes out and blows his arm up, which was just a burner for me. It killed me. I had him like 50% of my lineups yesterday. That absolutely killed me. So other than that, it was still a fun night of baseball. Had fun. Had the family over, my nephew's birthday party. It was a really good day, and I'm ready to get back at it today.
Yeah, definitely ready to get back at it. We got a full slate, obviously, here on this Sunday. Really, it doesn't look like any weather concerns, which is always nice and relief. Looks like pretty solid weather around the country. We'll do what we've kind of been doing. We'll go talk to pitchers first, and then kind of hop in game by game, talk some specific plays, and then some stacks as well. Do us that favor, though. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us to continue to bring you guys these shows on a regular basis. So like, subscribe, 2 easy clicks. Let's go ahead and hop into the pitchers. We'll kind of look at DraftKings pricing, but we'll definitely, I know G Risen specializes on FanDuel, so he'll be able to tell us some price point plays as we go through. But pulling up FanDuel or DraftKings, Max Scherzer's at the top, 9.7, one of the lower price tags we've seen on him in a while. Really good matchup. I know D-Rock has been diving into the specific matchups here, and it's a really good spot here for Scherzer, 9.7K. For me, a very tough price tag to avoid. Come down a little bit. Corey Kluber, I think, is interesting at 8-1. Gets this good matchup at home against the Tigers, who their offense is not very good. One of the worst in baseball. We'll talk about just like the 8K and above range. Those are 2 guys that are sticking out to me. I think Giolito is in play as well at 8.6. Let's start with you, D-Rock. What are your thoughts here, I guess, on this top half of the player pool for pitcher?
Well, Matt Scherzer has basically a gift of a matchup today, and for some reason is not priced over 10K, which kind of blows my mind a little bit in this matchup against Miami. At 9.7, even in tournaments, he's going to be really chalky, but I think that's just one play you just need to stick in there and go with it. I do not see him blowing up in this spot. It's just Miami's rolling out a pretty weak lineup. I see 7 guys in their lineup have strikeout rates over 26% coming into this matchup. And then another guy, I've been attacking Tampa Bay all year, and I think I'm going to continue to do it. If you do want to pivot off of Matt's, I like Christian Javier at 9,400 for Houston. He's shown some pretty sick stuff this year, 29% CSW. And Tampa Bay has struck out 24.7% of the time against right-handed pitchers this year on the season. Another one that's going to be really chalky that is kind of hard to go away from, but I'm not really feeling it against Cleveland today, is Lucas Giolito. I mean, he's normally a 10K pitcher, and he's priced all the way down to $8,600 today on DraftKings. One of the highest strikeout rates I think it might be the highest strikeout rate on the slate of all the pitchers coming into this matchup. Cleveland, no easy matchup, though. They only got 25% strikeout rate as a team against right-hand pitchers. So that's probably going to be one of my leaning towards a fade of Giolito today, just to get rid of that ownership. And then that really helps you out with Matt's. And then I agree with you on Corey Kluber. Really, any pitcher against Detroit right now is just kind of a gift of a matchup.
That might make G Rison upset. He had some hope going into the season for his Tigers, but man, it is not. It does not look good for your crew early on here, bud.
I knew better. Tigers are a few years away. I mean, they got a patch up lineup. That team's terrible. I think I heard yesterday on the broadcast that they're averaging 7 base runners a game for the last 16 games. That's just horrible.
Tough scene. All right, talk to us about some of these pitchers. I know on FanDuel, Max Scherzer is much more expensive. They got him up there at $12K. So talk about these pitchers in the top tier on DK, but also mix in some FanDuel talk for us as well.
Yeah, on FanDuel, Max is $12K. I mean, he's all the way up there. He's $1,400 more than Giolito. Max does have a great matchup. Miami K's almost 10Ks per 9. It's hard to argue with Max here, but on FanDuel, I don't know. That's going to be tough for me to get up to 12 for him. I know there's pretty big slate, a lot of value bats, but I think there's a couple other spots that are intriguing as well. You guys mentioned Javier. I do like him against Tampa. I think the last 3 games, Javier's almost been 50 points, 49, 48, 42 points his last 3. Tampa's actually the last few games, Tampa's not been hitting very well. I want to say they've only averaged like 5 hits in the last 4 or 5 games per game. So I think Cleveland and Detroit, the only 2 that are worse. So I am a fan of Javier. I do like him. Another guy I was looking at first was Rogers. Rogers has been doing really well, but at 10-2 on FanDuel, I can't pay up for a guy that Washington actually hits lefties really well. I think they have the top WOBA in the majors against lefties. So I'm going to pass on Rogers, even though he's been really good. Maile is a guy though that is interesting. The Cubs strike out a lot against right-handers. Maile's got, I mean, that's kind of a sneaky. I think he's averaging like 12.6 Ks per 9. He's been mowing guys down. So I think he's in play. I also like Urias as well against Milwaukee. Milwaukee Ks quite a bit. I mean, Urias is kind of up and down. We obviously seen him. He had a 60-point game, and then he had a couple 20-point games surrounded in between. I think he's in play for tournaments. And then you mentioned Kluber. I do like Kluber. I mean, it's hard to ignore any pitcher against the Tigers, but I will forewarn you that Mr. Cabrera has quite the career numbers against Kluber. I know Cabrera sucks. Kluber's down a little bit, but I mean, even in his heyday, Miggy owns Kluber. So I wouldn't doubt if Miggy got one today on him, but I might stay away from Kluber. My favorite play today is probably Javier or Max are my favorite 2.
I have a feeling when we get to the hitters, G Rison's going to recommend a Tigers contrarian stack today when it comes full circle. You can't get away from your boys. You know that.
No,
D-Rock, talk to me about some of these cheaper pitchers. Do you foresee yourself going down here and playing any of these guys?
Right now, I'm seeing Trevor Rogers to be pretty popular at 7,900 on DraftKings. I'm probably going to be fading him against this Washington lineup. Like G. Rison was saying, one of the top WOBAs in the league against left-hand pitching with a 381. The pivot I like off him is going against my Cubbies, actually, and that's Tyler Mahle. He's 32% CSW, one of the highest on the slates out of all the pitchers, 31.4% strikeout rate. And the Cubs, they gift pitchers with strikeouts. I mean, he's no Castillo. He's not hurt. He's not losing velocity. I don't know what it is, but I could see him pumping the gem today against this Cubs lineup. He's only allowing the 153 ISO on the season right now, or the Cubs that have only got 153 ISO on the season against right-hand pitching. So he is probably my favorite pitcher in this range. And I'll even go as far as saying I could see him being point per dollar, the top pitcher on today's slate against the Cubs. And then another one, I mean, there's really not much I really like down here today. Another one I might take a stab on at 6,800 is Carlos Martinez of the Cardinals against the Pirates. The Pirates don't have the greatest strikeout numbers, but I'm willing to take a stab. I mean, it's $6,800, and you can fit some more big bats with it. And then I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on this one, but I have a feeling he's going to get a little bit of attention today. And that's the Brewers' Alec Bettinger making his major league debut against the Dodgers today at Miller Park. Only $4,000 on DraftKings. So even if he can get you, say, somehow find 2 or 3 strikeouts, if he can land in that 8 to 10 point range, that's pretty good value for a 4K pitcher. And it's going to allow you any bat you literally want on the slate.
I think he's firmly in the conversation at the position. I mean, this to me, obviously, I'm more focused right now on NBA opposed to MLB, but this right here reminds me of a 3K NBA punt where, even if he comes out and completely sucks, you're not dead because you're getting every top bat on the slate, like you talk about. I mean, I'm always down for a 4K full punt, especially at the pitcher position, which does have some high volatility. So I love that call. I'm definitely
and I'm gonna play on DK today. If this Bettinger guy is gonna be even somewhat in the conversation chalky, I'm playing on DK and I'm gonna stack the Dodgers. That dude, he's got beat up.
He's not. I don't think he's gonna have massive ownership or anything.
No, I don't see it either.
If it was, I would not. If
everyone's playing him, you stack up the Dodgers and you get the leverage that way, but he's not going to be like a super high-owned guy. I mean, it's a new name to the DFS community. People don't know. People will be hesitant.
You could play him. You could play him and stack the Dodgers in the lineup that you play him in if you really wanted to. I mean, he's going to get you that many bats.
I dug into Bettinger a little bit. He hasn't seen any live type game action. He didn't even play at all last year. And he got beat up pretty good in AA. I guess, I'd fair caution to that. I just think they're running him out there. And one thing I will say about that game, I noticed all the Dodger bats ran those numbers off Burns being the starter. So I think all those Dodger bats are actually priced lower than they should.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that I noticed because I think they ran their algorithm with Burns as the pitcher. So I think you get the Dodger bats actually cheaper today against the Bettinger. But I can see what you're saying. I mean, if he gets 8 or 10 points, throws out a couple Ks. But I just think that's a boomer bust. I think he could get beat up pretty bad. And then we're going to see Zimmerman come in after Bettinger, and he's just been god-awful. And the Dodgers could just roll up some runs today. I believe.
Uncle T in the chat stroking you, G-Rise, and he said you're always the sharp one. You'll be dead when this guy gets you -15. Uncle T, you don't have an opportunity to speak until you show up to a PGA show on back-to-back weeks. I mean, you dodged this last week. Anytime there's a Wednesday PGA show, you choose the Wednesday crew over the Tuesday show. I don't know where your loyalty's at right now, man. So I don't want to hear it.
Man, oh man, it's a rough crew. Uncle T, he likes to do that. He's like, he just likes to pop in, and I noticed, on the golf shows, it's like, where's Uncle T this week? Where's he at?
Yeah. I mean, he's his record is a little shaky right now, but he'll have an opportunity to redeem himself this week.
He should join us for a cup of coffee right now.
Uncle T has won me some giblets in golf, so I can't complain. He's pulled some rabbits out of his hat for me a few times in the past. So, matter of fact,
Uncle T is just one of the better guys just to give a hard time about basically anything you have the opportunity to give him a hard time about. But he's a good dude for sure. Anything else, G-Rise, anything else here at this pitcher position that stands out before we hop into the batters?
Did I just see you drinking out of a Tiger mug?
Yeah,
You're calling me a homer? I'm drinking beer, and you're drinking out of a Tiger mug.
I had this thing for about 15 years, and it's my go-to because it fits, like, especially if I know I'm having a big cup of coffee, it fits a lot of coffee. So it's my go-to coffee mug if I know I'm in for a long day of sipping on coffee.
Yeah, you guys talk about these bottom half of the pitchers. I really don't see too much I like down there. You guys mentioned Martinez. Until he shows me something, I'm not going to probably go there. I don't see really much down in the lower half of pitching that stands out for me. So I think I'm going to be in that Tyler Mahle range, probably maybe go down to Kluber, Javier, and maybe make a team with Max. I think I might actually have a handful of pitchers today. I'll probably play 5 lineups. I might have 2 on one and then split up the other ones with different pitchers and stay toward the same kind of stacks I like.
All right. Very good. We're going to go ahead and hop into the batters. We're going to kind of go game by game, talk about specific hitters, stacks, all that good stuff. But before we do that, reminder to hit that like button, hit the subscribe. Also, we got the promo going, RPS Heater 25, basically gets you 25% off your first payment on a monthly package at Run Pure Sports. You can get the DFS and bets combo for $100. You can get the DFS only package for $80. And you get 25% off for the first month if you want to check us out. So that's runpuresports.com. The promo code RPS Heater 25. Let's go ahead and hop into some of these offenses. First game here, Marlins, Nationals, 7 total. Team total for Washington hovering around 4. Team total for Marlins hovering around 3. That's obviously because they're going up against Max Scherzer. Good spot here to fade, as D-Rock had already said. Obviously we know Max Scherzer is a good pitcher, but the matchups here are really brutal for these hitters. Great spot for Max Scherzer. No interest here in the Marlins. Curious to get your guys' take though on the Nationals, especially yours, D-Rock. You kind of mentioned that you're going to be off Rogers. Does that mean that you might be looking to some of these Nationals bets today?
Yeah, I will be playing some Nats, especially, that's when you're fading somebody that's going to be chalky like that, you definitely want to get the bats. Trey Turner at 4.9, he's been riding hot. I'm willing to go right back there again on him, hitting lead off. Really all these righties, I really don't have any interest in my boy Kyle Schwarber, though. I mean, it seems to be the only time he's hitting home runs nowadays if it comes to winning the baseball game for the Nats.
He's not in the lineup.
He's not?
In the lineup, no.
Yes, I only got the updated lineup then. Yeah, I mean, if Josh Harrison and Ryan Zimmerman are in the lineup, I like both of them too. They're decent.
Harrison's 2, Zimmerman's 4.
Is Castro cleanup?
Castro's hitting 5th.
All right,
So
I like that play too.
Pretty good lineup to attack Rogers.
Yeah, Castro at 3.4K is a great play today also against them. But I mean, I have no interest in Miami whatsoever, and I really don't like the bottom though Washington lineups.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I mean, if I'm going anywhere, it's going to be the top of the Nationals lineups. It's a pretty good lineup here to attack Rogers. G. Risen, what are your thoughts here on this Marlins Nationals game?
Yeah, like you said, over under a 7. There really isn't too much at bats here. I will lay caution though. Corey Dickerson actually has some pretty good numbers against Max in his career, but I'm not going there. But if you're going to fade Max, Dickerson might be a guy you might want to consider as a one-off. And then also, you look at the Nats. I think that's either a full stack or just play Trey Turner as a one-off for me. Trey Turner is a guy that I always look at shortstop. It just seems like Turner's always got a chance to put up a 25, 30-point game, and he's a guy that I just like to play at shortstop. I've played him. I play him more times than not. So I don't really like the bottom part of this Nats lineup. Hernandez, Jody Mercer, Yan Gomes. The top half looks okay to me. I'm just not a fan of the bottom half of that lineup, but I don't see myself playing too many bats here.
All right, let's move on to the next game. We have the Cardinals. We have the Pirates, 8.5 total, 4.5 team total for the Cardinals, about a 4 for the Pirates. Carlos Martinez is a guy that's going to get some ownership at the pitcher position. So curious to see if you guys have any interest in maybe a little leverage stack there with the Pirates. And then on the Cardinals side, lineup doesn't look all that great. Matt Carpenter hitting 3rd, but he is 2.4K. Interesting, maybe a potential punt play there. Go to you first, G. Risen. What's your interest level here in these Cardinals Pirates bats?
I think there's so many spots on the slate. I think the Cardinals are interesting. Dylan Carlson's just been hot as can be. I do like that whole St. Louis lineup as a whole. I mean, the Pirates are running out Will Crow. I mean, who knows how long that guy's gonna be out there. The Pirates side, the only guy I might really think about is Greg Polanco. He's pretty cheap on FanDuel, 2,600. He could get to Martinez, but Martinez is kind of a pitcher to me. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. One time he goes out there and he looks like Carlos Martinez of the past, and the next time he just can't get anything over and is just getting rocked. So it's it's kind of hard. I don't see myself really with much Pirates action, but yeah, I might see myself a little mini stack with some cards.
Yeah, and it's pretty affordable. I got the DK pricing up. What's the price tag look like on these guys for FanDuel?
Well, Dylan Carlson's 36. He's priced up. You can get Matt Carpenter in the 3-hole right behind him at 2,500. You got Arnando behind Carpenter. He's 4K. So they're priced up a little bit, DeJong.
Yeah.
But I do like Carpenter there in the 3-hole at 2,500. Maybe you could pair him up with the Dylan Carlson.
So these guys are actually cheaper relatively on DK opposed to FanDuel. So interesting. All right, D-Rock, what are your thoughts here on this Cardinals Pirates game?
Not a whole lot of interest as far as stacking goes for me in this game. If anything, Dylan Carlson, like G-Rise is saying, he's only 3.3 over on DraftKings, so even cheaper than FanDuel hitting in the 2-hole. I like him. And then my favorite bet for the Pirates is actually going to be Colin Moran. He's 4.5. He's priced up a little bit. But I like the lefty-righty matchup there against Martinez with him. And he's coming in less than 5% ownership right now. But, other than that, you can get to a Arenado or guys like that. But just not – I don't see a lot of fireworks happening in this game today.
All right, let's keep it moving. We'll go to the Tigers. G-Rison's Tigers, the Yankees, 8.5 total. We have basically little over 5 for the Yankees team total, 3 team total for the Tigers. Yankees will most likely be one of the higher owned stacks on the slate because of that team total, which is the highest on the slate. And we know the guys that are going to get the ownership, like Odor will be very, very popular, batting 4th, 3.9K on DK. Stanton, Judge will get ownership as well. The thing that's interesting to me about this lineup is it's a lineup where I don't mind going to the bottom, specifically with Mike Ford and the catcher. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, Higashioka or something. But both these guys have.
We'll have to ask JT how to say it.
They told me just call him Higgy.
Higgy. All right, that works for me. So
Higgy baby.
So Mike Ford and Higgy. I like those two at the bottom, batting 7-8. A lot of people are hesitant to go to the bottom of lineups, but there's a lot of pop there between those two guys. So Yankees will be owned, like I said, but there's ways I think you can get a little bit different than the field. I'll stick with you, D-Rock. What are your thoughts here on this Tigers-Yankees game?
I will be going right back to the Yankees again. They're probably one of my favorite stats on the slate. It's kind of like you were saying, you get to the bottom of the order for the lower ownership, the leverage there. I'm playing 20 mats, so I'm going to have a bunch of different ways I'm going to be stacking this up, whether it's, the simple 1 through 5 or the wraparounds, get in the middle of the order. I'm going to try to attack this any way I can to get as much out of this opportunity as possible. And then for the Tigers, I just don't really have much interest against Kluber. I'm sorry, G-Rise, I don't see it happening today. So that
doesn't happen any day.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard, easy fade for me, I should say. But give me all the Yankees today. I absolutely love them, and they're lower owned than what they've been. They're going to be lower owned today. But
really, you think so?
Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody over 15% right now on DraftKings.
Really?
Yeah.
Odor's got to get up there now. He's batting 4th, right?
He's the one that's showing at 15% right now.
Yeah. Okay.
And which I can see it because you got 10 games on the slate, and
yeah.
There isn't no really one spot weather-wise that's actually cranking everybody to just one game. Yeah. So I can see a spread out ownership today.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, G-Risen, thoughts here on this Tigers-Yankees game?
Yeah, I actually think the Yankees are going to come in as one of the higher owned stacks. But I'll lay caution. Jose Urena is like a true splits kind of guy, as we've talked about if you listen to these shows in the past. He sucks against lefties, just absolutely brutal. But he is really good against righties. So you mentioned the bottom half of that lineup there, Hoop. If I was going to stack it up, you might want to start with like a Hicks, Ford, and then maybe a Higgy, maybe throw in Gardner, and then, bounce it with Stanton, who's actually in the last week has the most hits. It didn't really equate to any kind of homers, but he's got he had a pretty good week. He's hitting over 400. You're right. I think Odor is going to be really popular. I think he's going to be, and especially at generally a weak position, second base. But I think I'm going to fade most of this game. I'm going to give Urena. I mean, the Tigers starting pitching actually has been really good. It's the only thing that you can really give them any kind of credit for. So I just think with as good as you look at Urena's last few game logs, he really hasn't got blown up for any more than 1 or 2 earned runs in 5 or 6 innings. And I'm tired of stacking against him and getting frustrated with him. So I'm just, I'm going to stay away. I'm going to let everybody else play the Yankees. And there's a few other spots I think I'm going to go after. And I hope the Yankees get all sorts of ownership. I'm just going to stay away.
Interesting. I mean, I'm definitely going to play him. Like I said, I'm going to be cautious because I do think that the ownership does begin to creep up a little bit on these guys. So, like I said, I have some interest in going down to the bottom. The next game we have on here, Braves, Blue Jays. I'm not seeing – you guys seen a total on this yet? I'm trying to pull this up.
10.5.
10.5. Okay. That's why the Yankees aren't –
Coors Field.
Yeah. So maybe that's why the Yankees aren't coming in as highly owned, because we're going to see some popularity, I think, in this game. Yeah, 10.5 total. So both these teams are likely over. So the Braves are definitely over, like 5.5 for their team total. Blue Jays will be right around 5. This field obviously has been very, very hitter friendly. Like you said, the new Coors Field. 2 offenses that are very capable of putting up big time numbers here. I'm not seeing lineups yet in this game. Let me refresh just to check. Still no lineups in this game, but maybe that helps ownership, keep it down a little bit. But this game having that 10.5 total, I think you're definitely going to want some exposure to this one. Let's stick with you, G-Rise, and what are your thoughts here on this Braves Blue Jays game?
Yeah, I don't think the Blue Jays have even announced who a starter is going to be. I've heard grumblings it might be Ross Stripling, who's going to be coming off the IL. And if that's the case, he had like a dead type arm. Getting a kind of a shitty pitcher coming off the IL. At that point, if they announce Ross Stripling is going to start, I heard they were going to let him warm up and see how he feels. And if that's the case, I'm definitely interested in some Braves. I mean, Acuna is he's a video game. Freeman's been hitting. Azuna's been hitting. Riley's been hitting. You got Pablo. If he starts, he's really cheap to add to the stack. So I'm really interested in the Braves. But on the Blue Jay side, even though, this Dunedin Stadium has basically been named the new Coors Field, been scoring all kinds of runs, hitting homers left and right. I might look at, probably staying away from some of these Blue Jays. I just respect Ian Anderson. You might want to maybe look at some one-offs if you're interested there. I just can't see myself with too many Blue Jays just because of Anderson. But I think the Braves are in a really, really good spot.
D-Rock, what do you got for us here in this game?
Yeah, I love the Braves in this matchup, especially like he said, if it's against Stripling. I think it's going to end up being a couple of innings against Stripling if he does pitch, and then it's going to be basically the Braves versus the Blue Jays bullpen. The park is just set up to have fireworks here. And the one thing about the Braves, they're all like the top half of that lineup is really expensive. So you're going to have to get a little bit different if you want to full stack it, which I will be doing. And, getting to the bottom of the order, you got some really cheap bats down there at the bottom of the order that provide really good value for today. If, considering Sandoval, if he's in the lineups today, he's only 2.4K. Alex Jackson, if he's going to be in that catcher, he's only 2.3K. Christian Pache, again, he had a grand slam yesterday, and his price didn't move at all. He's still min-priced on DraftKings at 2K. So I think that's the way you're going to have to attack the Braves today, is kind of wrap around stack or just move it, eliminate something up top and go towards the bottom of that lineup.
Yeah, the fact that we don't have lineups out yet in this game, like we said, could potentially bring down the ownership a little bit on a team like the Braves that, based on the numbers, should be a very popular team today. So
Alex Jackson's not going to be in the lineup because he just got put on the 10-day DL.
All right, well, we got one piece of information on the Braves lineup. No Alex Jackson. But if we get it,
that's all we got.
Yeah,
I do like Pache. You guys mentioned, Pache. You think too, the Braves, they're not using their pitcher in their lineup. They get to add an extra bat. That's something. But Pache is a highly touted prospect. Just came back yesterday. Obviously, hit a grand slam. I like that too. What you guys mentioned. Maybe throw in, the 8-9 and throw in Freddie and Azunia, or maybe skip Acuna, which kind of sounds crazy. But how many people are going to have Atlanta stacks without Acuna?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I completely agree with that.
All right, let's next game we have D-Rock's Cubs and the Reds, 8.5 total, team total for the Reds, slightly above 4.5, team total for the Cubs, slightly below 4. Tyler Mahle is a guy that is in play. I know D-Rock, you talked about him, and you kind of like him a little bit. The bats here for the Cubs should not get all that much ownership. On the Red side, I like the Reds a little bit. I don't like their prices, specifically on DK. You're looking Winker 5.1, Castellanos 5.2, Moustakas is one guy that has a decent price tag. Votto 5.3, Suarez 5. If you're stacking up the Reds, you're paying the premium because these are all pretty big price tags. Stick with you, D-Rock. What are your thoughts here on these Cubs and Reds offenses?
Honestly, I don't want no Cubs today. Like I said, Tyler Mahle is my favorite pitcher on this slate. I could see him point per dollar being the top pitcher there is. If you do want to get to the Cubs, Mahle's been pretty reverse split wise rigorous. So I would stay away from the lefties because I think that's where a lot of people will go. They will go with like a Rizzo or Hayward against him for the lefty-right matchup. But if you're going to attack Mahle, I'd attack him matchup with right-handers and go with either, a KB one-off or a Javi one-off. Other than that, I have no interest in the Cubs. And I have no interest in the Reds either, though, in this game. I mean, and it's mainly because of pricing. If I'm going to pay that price for a hitter for a stack today, I'd rather just be the Braves so I can get it actually cheaper than the Reds today. And Trevor Williams he's not the greatest, but at the same time though, he's either going to he's like what G-Rise was mentioning earlier, he's going to get blown up or he's going to pitch a gem. There's really no in between, it seems like here lately with him.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, the Reds, like I said, they're a team I would have some interest in, but it's just, you can get some of these other offenses in a much better spot for cheaper. So I'll most likely be off the Reds. I mean, if I'm full MMEing, I definitely have some exposure here. G-Rise, what are your thoughts here on this Cubs-Reds game?
Yeah, I can agree with you guys are saying about the Cubs. I don't really have too much interest in the Cubs. Definitely have some interest in Mahle. But, you look at the Reds, you guys mentioned how expensive they are. I actually am looking at some of the lineup here for the Reds. I mean, their first 4 of 6 hitters are lefties. I don't mind Winker, Votto, Moose. I don't mind them at all, but you're right. The prices are high. You can pretty much get Atlanta for that, prices. Actually, what's funny, I was just looking here. How is Jesse Winker priced higher than Acuna on FanDuel? That's kind of, I didn't really realize that. Yeah. So, I could see a lot of people are going to think the same way, though. So I could see Cincinnati. I mean, they got a high team total. Obviously, that's a great park for home runs. If you do believe that you might get, it's a good stack spot. It's a good spot for tournaments for sure. So I wouldn't necessarily shy away from them like you mentioned MME, but I think that's a stack that's not going to get as much ownership as it should.
Trevor Williams to left-handed batters going all the way back to the start of last year, only a 141 ISO allowed to left-handed batters while allowing a 278 ISO to right-handed batters.
Okay, so Castellanos, Suarez, maybe those guys here, huh?
Yeah. I'd rather pass.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, let's move on. Next game, Astros, Rays, 8.5 total. Team total for Astros about 4.5. Team total for the Rays right around 4. Talked about it. The pitcher position, Javier has actually been very, very solid. I think this is a good spot for him. So I don't have much interest, or I have no interest really in the Rays bats. On the Astros side, Yeah, probably the same. I don't think I'm really going to be on the Astros here, to be honest with you. So this game overall, most likely a fade for me. G Ryzen, any interest here in these Astros or Rays bats for you?
No, I think this game is going to be a pass. I like Javier, like we mentioned, against the Rays, so I can't see myself looking at any Rays. Rich Hill, you can definitely get to Rich Hill with some of these righties on the Astros. But there's just so many other spots today. I can't see myself getting to any kind of Astros. For me, it'd be a full Astros stack or nothing. So, but they definitely could get to Rich Hill, and that Rays bullpen's been pretty shitty so far. So, Houston's definitely got some stack potential.
D-Rock, any interest in the bats here in this game?
No interest in Tampa Bay against Javier, but I actually do have interest in Houston. Anytime I can get the Houston Astros bats at under 10% ownership, maybe even under 5% ownership on a slate, I'm willing to go there. They're not priced up super high. They're all under 5K except for Carlos Correa today over on DraftKings. So I like the spot for them. And if they can get to Hill, like you're saying, they can get to that Tampa pen who's been pretty bad this season. And this could be one of those spots that goes off for 10, 11 runs, and you're going to have it at maybe 15% total ownership throughout your lineup.
Yeah, I mean, should not be much ownership here. And I mean, for Rich Hill, you get two lefties up there at the top. I mean, Alvarez, I think is still pretty solid in this spot. But yeah, if I'm playing the Astros, it would definitely be a stack situation for sure. I don't see the reason to really one off too many of these guys. All right, let's move on to the next game. We have the Indians. We have the White Sox. About almost a 5-team total for the White Sox, slightly below 4 for the Indians. Giolito is a guy that's going to be popular at the pitcher position. We talked about D-Rock said he's most likely fading him. So I want to know first from you, D-Rock, if you're fading Giolito, are you going to play some of these Indians bats? And then what's your interest level in the White Sox bats here?
For the Indians, I have a little bit of interest in them. I really don't. It's hard to not like Jose Ramirez, but he's priced up to 5.5. But these Cleveland bats, you don't have to really full stack if you want to get the leverage against Giolito. You can do this as mini stats. I mean, I like Ed Rosario against Giolito as a lefty. It's gonna be hard to not get Ramirez in there, but it's a tough one. I'm not looking to full stack it at all, though, but I'll definitely take some one-offs here. I just don't think you need to get like too crazy and fade them and go nuts on Cleveland. And then the White Sox, on the other hand, I mean, they're another team that's priced somewhat reasonable today compared to where they normally are. Tim Anderson's really expensive at 5.4, but I really like Yoan Moncada at 4.4. I think he should be priced up a little bit higher than that. And then I'll even get me some Mercedes at 4.5K if need be.
All right, G-Ryzen, thoughts here on this Indians White Sox game from an offensive standpoint?
Yeah, I like to kind of see that Indians lineup. I heard Franmil Reyes is on paternity possibly, so he may not be in a lineup. So if they
he's not in.
He's not. I didn't see. Okay.
Hernandez, D. Johnson, Ramirez, Rosario, Naylor, and Rosario.
And hey, scratch my Mercedes call. He was just scratched.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, even if you look at the White Sox lineup, I don't really like the bottom half of that lineup for the White Sox. But anytime I can get the White Sox low owned, kind of like, you guys were mentioning about Houston, the White Sox are a team that can obviously blow up at any point in time. I don't really respect Plesac very much. So the White Sox are in play for me as a stack, but I'd have to, you said your mom got scratched.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that changes that lineup a little bit there. But you got Anderson, Moncada, Robert, Abreu at the top. I mean, those guys are always in play, and it's a fairly cheap stack on FanDuel. I mean, you can get Abreu for 3.3, Moncada for 3.3, Robert 3K, even Anderson 3.6. So that's not a very expensive stack if you want to look at it. So I don't mind that, but with Franmil out, that kind of makes Giolito a little bit more interesting. Might get a little bit more ownership just taking that big bat out. I don't think that Indians lineup is very good.
It kind of does look like a watered down lineup, so it could increase, I think, the ownership for Giolito. You might see a lot of max Giolito pairings at the position, which will be pretty easy to do today. All right, let's move to the next game. Dodgers, Brewers, 8.5 total here in this game. 5 team total for the Dodgers, about 3.5 for the Brewers. The interesting part here, we talked about it at the top with the pitchers. Bettinger, 4K flat on DK. Me and D-Rock both on board with playing him at 4K flat. However, I think we're both on board with also playing some of these Dodgers bats. When you play a pitcher for 4K, what you're looking for is a guy to just essentially survive. You want him to 10, 12 fantasy points, and then no one else at the position really goes off. When in this situation, you can definitely play some of the bats coming back as well with the Dodgers. And then on the Brewers side, I don't think I'm going to be going there all that much today, but definitely like these Dodgers bats along with liking Bettinger. G. Risen, we'll go to you first. What are your thoughts here on this Dodgers Brewers game?
Yeah, as far as bats on the Brewers, I'm gonna pass on all the Brewer bats. I'm not interested in anything against Urias. But you talk about the Dodgers, like we mentioned earlier. I think all these bats are priced up because the algorithm had Burns starting. So you're getting the Dodger bats a little cheaper than you probably should against like a guy like Alex Bettinger. They'd all probably be priced up a little higher. But on FanDuel, just looking at some of the lefties that are probably going to be in there, Muncie's pretty cheap. I'm going to assume Rios will be in the lineup, probably even get Gavin Lux. But Seager's only 3,600. Justin Turner's 38. You can get Mookie for 4K. So it's really not that too expensive of a stack. So 8.5 team total. I do like the Dodgers today. If the Dodgers are going to come in lower owned than I believe that they should, I think the Dodgers for me might be a top stack for me.
Yeah, I like that call. I mean, I definitely will have a lot of exposure to the Dodgers bats today. D-Rock, give me your thoughts here on this Dodgers Brewers game.
Yeah, full fade on Milwaukee for me. Just have no interest there. And then, I mean, just like everybody else, this is going to be the chalk of the slate right here with the Dodgers, just because everybody knows they're pretty much getting a bullpen game against the Brewers. And, the Brewers bullpen isn't bad by any means, but you're still getting some of the most elite bats in baseball right now going up against this bullpen. And Corey Seager, probably my favorite bat by far at 40. He's only $4,600 tonight for DraftKings. Mookie's priced up there quite a ways to 5.8 on DraftKings, where I think he might get a little bit lower ownership just because of that. I think when people are stacking them, they might try to stick to the 5K and under guys, as in like just starting with Justin Turner at 5K and then working their way down. So I honestly think a little wraparound here, Seager, Turner bets, and then going down. If I'm guessing Gavin Lutz probably be in the lineup, getting him down there. He's only 3K tonight. So, yeah, I mean, this is going to be the chalk. So you're going to have to make a stand here and get overweight, or just kind of hope the Brewers bullpen shows up and shuts them down if you're going to fade.
Yeah, I mean, and the hope is a little bit later of a game here, 2 p.m. Eastern, lineup still not out. And, I mean, the hope is that maybe it keeps ownership down just a little bit. All right, 2 more games. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us to continue to bring you guys these shows on a daily basis. Like, subscribe. We have that promo going. DFS Heater 25 gets you 25% off your first payment for a monthly package at Run Pure Sports. That promo code DFS Heater, or what is it? RPS Heater 25. RPS Heater 25. All right. We have
I want to take a minute and mention just our bet side too with the baseball bets.
Yeah.
They have been absolutely on fire. Joey Work, every damn day he's winning 2 out of 3 or all 3 bets. It's unbelievable. Even some of the free ones he's been giving out to the people have been winning. So just make sure you guys are looking at Joey Works. If you don't have that bet package, you're just missing out for $20. It's not even $1 a day. Come on, you're getting a free few picks. You win one time over the month. You're just getting some great information.
Yeah,
I think people are missing out if they don't sign up on the bets.
Been doing a phenomenal job MLB season, just nailing a lot of these. They do a lot of the first 5 inning bets, and just been smashing them. So definitely, I mean, it's a no brainer. 20 extra bucks basically. So $100 DFS and bets combo, and get that for 25% off the first month. RPS heater 25. We have the Royals. We have the Twins 8.5 total here. Team total for the Royals right around 3.5. Team total for the Twins has come up actually all the way to 5. If you're playing on DraftKings specifically, you're paying a big premium for most of these Twins guys in the middle of the order. Buxton is 6.1K. Nelson Cruz is 5.9K. Donaldson is 5.1K. But you go to the top, Luis Araz, only 4.1K leading off, and then in the 5-hole, Alex Kirilloff is only 3K. So you do have the opportunity to get some value to go along with some of these more expensive bats. So I think the Twins are definitely interesting. Probably won't play any Royals bats here today against Barrios. Let's go to you, D-Rock. What are your thoughts on these Royals and Twins offenses?
No, thank you on the Royals today. I respect Barrios enough to where it doesn't make me really want to stack up against them. And then on the Twins, like you're mentioning, they're really pricey, but the value bats in that lineup do help you stack them up. And, even down at the bottom of the order, Jake Cave's down there at 2.2K. So a nice wraparound stack there, which would help you with the 2.2K Jake Cave. That helps make Buxton's price a little bit cheaper if you think about it that way. So I like getting that whenever I see guys names like Byron Buxton up there over 6K. I don't see his name getting clicked a lot tonight. So, I really like that play. But yeah, other than that, that's about it. Just, I like the wraparound stack there.
Horizon, what do you got here in this one?
Yeah, I'm not really interested in any Royals, but the Twins are at this point are one of my top stacks as well. I do really like the Twins. Keller is basically like a 2-pitch pitcher. He throws a lot of fastballs. He's like 70% some fastballs, and Nelson Cruz is a fastball killer. So I really like Nelson Cruz today. I think he's going dong. Alex Kirilloff, as you mentioned, he's a highly touted prospect. He's got a ton of power. On FanDuel, he's min price. He's 2K. He's hitting in the 5-hole. I do like the up and down of the whole Twins lineup. I don't think there's too many holes in it. I just think Keller is going to get beat up. Righties are hitting them at a 424 clip. I think Keller is going to get beat up. So I really do like the righties here for the Twins. You mentioned Buxton. I like Donaldson, Cruz, and then I do like the kid as well. So the Twins for me at this point are going to be probably one of my favorite stacks.
Yeah, like that. And like I said, the total here has come up a little bit as well. It's up to 8.5, but a lot of it is going on that Twin side. Their team total now is above 5, slightly above 5. So they're definitely getting some momentum in their direction in the betting markets. All right, let's head to the last game of the slate. We have the Red Sox. We have the Rangers. Total here is 9. About a little below 5 for the Red Sox, a little above 4 for the Rangers. And just, two offenses I don't think are going to have all that much ownership today. The one guy, obviously, I think that you should always have in your player pool if you're MMEing, Joey Gallo, very affordable price tag on DK at 3.8K. But yeah, really overall, two offenses that I don't think will be all that owned. We'll stick with you, G Ryzen. Any interest here in Red Sox or Rangers bats for you?
Yeah, I don't see myself with any Rangers at this point. You mentioned Gallo; he's always a guy that can hit a bomb. But I'm looking over here at some of these Red Sox bats. I like to attack Fulte. Fulte's not very good. I want to say he's given up 17 homers in 27 games. He just doesn't miss bats. And against a team like the Red Sox, guys like JD, Bogarts, and Devers. These guys all can hit the ball hard. I really do like the Red Sox today, and you're going to get them low owned, as you mentioned. JD is a great play today. I think he's a good pivot off some of those higher priced guys that we mentioned earlier. But yeah, Fulte's been getting beat around. So that Ranger bullpen isn't that good. So I do like some Red Sox today.
Very good. D-Rock, thoughts here, Red Sox, Rangers bets. Any interest?
Yeah, pretty much the same thing on the Red Sox was G-Ryzen was saying. I mean, Devers probably my favorite bet, though, for the Red Sox today. And then my real interest in this game is actually with Texas, is with their lefties. They're really cheap, and they're going to make it a little bit easier to pay up for a little bit more pitching and get like the Dodgers in your lineups, the Astros, the Braves. Willie Calhoun's leading off. I've always liked him. He's only 2.8K. Then Nate Lowe and Joey Gallo are both 4 and 3.8K. So, I mean, that's not too bad price points. And then David Dahl is under 3K as well, the lefty-righty matchup against Richards. So I think I will be getting to some Texas bats today for mini stacks.
Well, all right, let's go ahead and talk about some stacks. We'll go with like our favorite stack, and then one maybe like under the radar stack that we have some interest in here. So I'll go to you first, D-Rock. Talk to me about your favorite overall stack, and then one that might kind of fly under the radar a little bit that you like.
My favorite overall stack, and I mean, it's going to be chalky, but if we're just talking overall, it's going to be the Atlanta Braves. They just brought the lineup out a little bit ago, and it's going to be chalky because there is a ton of value now. You got Pablo Sandoval hitting 5th, 2.4K. William Contreras, my buddy Wilson's brother, in there at catcher. Stone Min, 2.0K. And then you got Pasha did make the lineup in the 9-hole. He's also 2.0K. So, I mean, it's going to be so simple to get guys like Okuna, Freeman, and Ozuna in this lineup, and you build the stack with it. So I'll have tons of Braves exposure today to try to be overweight on the field there. And then also as well as the Dodgers. But my favorite under the radar stack is going to be the Houston Astros. Against Hill, I not so much towards. I'll keep it 1 through 7. I really don't have that much interest in Maldonado and Miles Straw, but I do like those Houston bats up top today at super low ownership.
Yeah, we very, very low owned. G-Ryzen, favorite stack, and then favorite kind of under the radar stack a little bit.
Yeah, my favorite stack is Atlanta, as you guys were mentioning. I mean, that stadium is, the News Coors Field. I just can't see the Braves not putting up, 6, 7, 8, 10 runs against Ross Stripling coming off the IL and that bullpen. But as you mentioned, I do think they're going to be pretty popular. I do hope people go to the Yankees. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm gonna fade that. I'm not touching. I'm not going to be interested. But my next, I think I'm going to look at the Red Sox and Twins. I'm not decided which one is my favorite under the radar one, but I think I'm just going to say Red Sox. I think Fulte's just been getting beat up, and I do like that Red Sox lineup. So I think I might look there. Plus, it's one of the later games on the slate today, 2:35. So sitting back with some Red Sox here who are the visiting team, get that extra at bat if they're ahead. You know what? That might just put you over the finish line, and I do like that. I like the Red Sox.
Yeah, I'll add a couple more to the conversation. I like the Twins now that I look at it a little bit more. I don't think many people are going to click on Buxton or Cruz, 5.9K, 6.1K. But you have the cheap guys to go along with it that make it work easily with Kirilloff batting 5th at 3K. So you can kind of bring down that average price that you're paying. So give me the Twins. And I still really like in that first game, D-Rock, you were kind of on the Nationals top of the lineup. I still like that. I mean, they're going to be virtually unowned, and you get a lot of righties up there. Harrison, Robles, Turner, Zimmerman, Castro. I like stacking those guys up the top of the Nationals. It's kind of under the radar stack. So those are a few of the teams that we'll be looking at today. But we're going to wrap this up. Got to finish up all our content, runpuresports.com, that promo code RPS Heater 25. So for D-Rock, for G-Rising, I am Hoop. Good luck in your contest today.